day you'll buy a ride on a comet, and you'll ride into the sunset of a planet that's beyond it, beyond the wall of all there is. And you will stash it in your pocket, and you'll take it to Manhattan, man, where your grandma's 10 and you are 10. You're not a family man, you're best friend. And you will hold it together under the oldest running water of the river of each other, with the power of the future. One day you'll ride into the dawn.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome back again to the channel. This is Rob here, working on reviews, back to talk more Perpetual Grace Limited Season 1. I'm saying Season 1 again for a reason. We're on Episode 10. It is called A Sheriff in the Era of the Cartel. Beautiful title sequence right here. And I'm saying Season 1 because I was led to believe from a couple of my commenters that this was like a one-off show. Somebody please tell me this is coming back with Season 2, because where we leave it, I mean, I guess it could be an ending, maybe an ambiguous ending, where you just have to kind of fill in the blanks a little bit, especially the look on Walker's face. But if we're getting more, somebody please tell me we're getting more, because I want more. And yeah, I wouldn't see the need maybe to go over 2 seasons, but I mean, if there's more story to tell. But anyway, full spoilers if you have not seen this episode. Like I said on my last video, that I don't know when this is going up, because I've been kind of being a little down, and I was even thinking about sending these videos, these last 2 episodes, straight to the people that make the show to make sure that it's good enough, because I'm just not feeling very good with about myself right now in my videos. But anyway, let's talk about this finale. I'm going to call it a season finale until I get it confirmed that it's a series finale. But this one is written by Steve Conrad, Bruce Terrace. This is directed by Steve Conrad. Great episode. Where we have everybody, the most, like, kind of the major players here, where we've got Glenn, Scotty, Paul, and James, all getting ready to create a funeral and get rid of the sheriff. And in order for everybody to know that the plan is understood correctly, he lets Glenn, no offense to Glenn and his blunt force head trauma, but if he can remember the plan, then we know we're okay. He first mentions that the other girl is in Mexico, which lets off, because that means that he thinks she's hot, but the other girl, she's the other girl that's hot. And that the plan, amongst other things, is to fuck with Walker's beautiful head and send his ass packing. So a lot of this plan hinges on Glenn's dad, Beverly, and Dave. So they need Beverly to be able to stick to the fishing story, and they need Dave to not show up to the funeral. So immediately I was like, oh, this is going to go. That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I don't mind it being predictable, but when you say those statements out loud, you know that's where it's going. I also like the whole thing about the money's going to be divided, but not equally. That's like our intro, like where we get to our main titles. But right away, I mean, come on, Walker's a detective. He may be a Texas Ranger, but he's also a detective, and he does not buy this fishing story at all. And especially it's about the money and Pa's ranch and the land and how all this place is failing. You know, the restaurant's doing okay, the bar's doing okay. The rest of this place, it's a mystery of how this town even exists. I mean, they lost money because of what I'm assuming is Paul's taking the money for his stock situation. But the money is what's getting Walker kind of like, and how much of it, and that the fact that they're dead, and that a lot of this town's money would then hinge on the life of Pa and Ma. Also, we have the tells. How do you know when somebody's lying to you? And he goes over them really quickly to the sheriff. And we transition to Beverly, played by Michael Chernus, who's fabulous in this show. I also just Easy recently, where he's on that. He's also really good on that too. He's just more of a down-to-earth guy. But in this, as the town drunk, he's awesome. And he goes to Walker and proceeds to go through every way to tell if someone's lying to you. Is it silly? Yes. Is it serious? Yes. So one cancels out the other because it's really funny. And again, just you get all those close-ups of Walker and the eyes and the head. It's just so great. And they're in deep shit. And we also come up with a new name for New Leaf because he's feeling bad, and that's Mr. Success. I don't know if I'd fall for that, but Hector calls Pa a violent father time to Valerie, but that everything is going according to plan. Like, he's going to be out of the way, so we don't have to worry about anything. He's good as dead. And the next is they keep asking New Leaf, like, hey, man, are you ready for us to run over your parents with a vehicle hauler? And I just kept thinking, stop asking him if it's okay. It's never going to be okay to do this. Is it something that you're willing to do? It's not something you should be willing to do. But in this set of circumstances, being as they are for the story, yes, but stop pushing it. Because I wouldn't want to have to keep, well, I mean, okay, maybe in my case, I should, it's never okay to just run people over with a vehicle hauler, okay? I gotta step that line of thought before I dig myself any deeper. The whole thing where he talks about pitching, and that it would take him, you can take as much time as you want between a pitch in professional baseball. But he was taking 27 minutes between pitches. And they show it, and it's great. And I don't know if Chris was actually the one out there because the way it was shot and framed and everything, you couldn't tell who was out there. But if it was Chris out there, I mean, I'd want to do it if I was him. But that was hilarious. You got the timer out there, all the different things like to get wound up and stuff. I don't know if you're trying to find your flow. Sure, I think you're stalling really. But the pitch scene is really hilarious. But we also get another great New Leaf adage. Man, you could put this stuff on posters or like on one of those like calendars with the kitten hanging, down instead of like, hang in there. You could write the tough to get into the rhythm of the world and find a way to rhyme with it. That's like fucking poetry, man. That is poetry. But in this, then we also get the dark side of it where you find out that there was this guy who fucked his girlfriend. Why am I saying effed? Fucked his girlfriend. He froze a baseball and hit him with a 90-mile-per-hour pitch in the face. Now, I don't know if he took 27 minutes to throw the ball. Probably not, because then it wouldn't be frozen anymore. But he's talking about how his flow is gone and he needs to get it back. And so he's just like, once they give him the Mr. Success nomenclature and everything, and they're just like, fuck it. Something's got to flow for me. Run my parents over. Well, he runs them over. We get so much good stuff from between these three characters in this episode. And you know what? I'm gonna finally put out my James clips. So Jimmy Simpson. You may know him from this. He's been in other things, but there's two things that I really like him in. I've liked him in a lot of things, and what I need to go back to is I think it's Knockout Kings from AMC. I think they had like 2 seasons. I need to go back and rewatch that. But here's a couple of things that I know him from, and I really love it. So here we go.
Mac kicked her out of the bathroom so he could make sweet love to Margaret in private.
I heard you gave quite a performance, Macwell.
Okay, that's enough, all right? God, that's your sister.
Yeah.
You know what? Just move past it. Tell the story, please.
She's still expecting a call.
Okay. That's not gonna happen, so just move past it, all right?
You will call her!
Jesus, man, I'm sorry. Fine, I'll call her.
You're right, this place is a fantasy. Nothing here is real, except one thing. The guests. Half of your marketing budget goes to trying to figure out what people want. Because they don't know. But here they're free. Nobody's watching. Nobody's judging. At least that's what we tell them. This is the only place in the world where you get to see people for who they really are. And if you don't see the business in that, then you're not the businessman that I thought you were.
Yeah, I don't know what was taking me so long with giving you the guys the Jimmy Simpson stuff, but it's the finale. So, and you know, I just I don't know why I just never found a way to work them in. But they have Paul and New Leaf and James have their little talk about what they're going to do with the money. You know, they have their noble goals, as New Leaf says. Seriously, man, you need to come up with like a little like you could get one of those one-a-day calendars of New Leaf sayings that you can rip off every day and just put lines from the script, because pretty much it's all gold. It's all gold. But James has got his secret benefactor thing going with helping out the kids that the fireman who died. And Paul has Little Tornado. And I tried to find stuff for Daniel Harriman, other than, he had a brief role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I did not mean to wear this when I was thinking about this, but yeah, he's in this. Briefly as Charles Manson. And he's doing it. He's doing this for the girl because of what he did, knowing that he's responsible. And all of a sudden now it's finally, we get to the heart of Paul for real. That he is going to turn himself in. He's going to give $1 million to her father, which maybe I don't think he deserves it after what we hear about later on. But he plans on giving the $1 million to the family, and then turning himself in. After he prefaces, he learns to master the 11 major martial arts. He already knows Kung Fu, right? He says he already knows Kung Fu. Now, this whole thing about like how much do you weigh, $140, you're like a medium-sized girl and everything, and how did he do it? Like, it's like, I can't do it. But he's like, I could seize you with this. And it's like he calls it a loud hawk. And it will come in handy. And other pointers are cry in your cell, only cry in your cell, and make sure that you keep quiet while you're doing it. So they're like, how much do you weigh? Yeah, 140. Yeah, get all 11. Get all 11 martial arts skills because you're going to need it. And he goes into this thing about it being like a 6-hour fight, 5.5 hours of like fighting and like another half an hour, so that they would know that I'm not the easiest piece of pie. And so they go, well, hey, all right. New Leaf's like, I want to see some of this Kung Fu. And both James and New Leaf are kind of like that attitude of, yeah, show me this Kung Fu. Now like, we know he's good at hunkering and scurrying. But I mean, I wrote, holy shit, he's actually good. And he's up there just jumping around. And it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. So it's like Paul may be a bit of a dipshit, but he knows magic and he knows Kung Fu and he knows how to talk people into, kidnapping his parents and trying to get their money. Now, getting all the details right has been a clusterfuck of epic proportions. But then with the scene where they've got the vehicle hauler, the car hauler in the semi, and I was like, oh fuck. And I literally had my hands like, they're really going to do this? And they do. And I was like, special boys. The special boys all come together. All they needed was Glenn to like maybe pop his arm out from behind them or something like that. But then they hug it out. And it's really sweet. I mean, it's really fucked up. But it's kind of sweet. I mean, in a very fucked up way. Poor Felipe is tracked down by Valerie, played by Dana DeLorenzo, who he holds drug-addicted babies so that they feel warmth. And of course, because he's like, I can't go to space, you dragged me away from space, so I'm going to do something down here that means something. And they won't even let him do that. Oh, they're pulling him away from helping crack babies. It's nuts. Pa gets drugged out to the middle of the desert, and they send Ma walking. Ma spends a lot of time walking. I like Hector's line that he directs traffic around the cartel, not at them. It's a really interesting way to put it. And that they say Pa's not a monster. What about Nigel? Look, they were getting picked on, they were getting beaten up. Okay. Does that mean you stick a bunch of bed sheets down his throat? No, Pa's a bad person. Okay, you're forgetting about where he got all this money, and why is the town dying? All this stuff. Pa is a monster, in my opinion. Like I've had my flip-floppy ways, but then again, it's almost like the character has been able to kind of pull a mind thing on everyone that, even people that watch it like me, where I'm like, I don't know, maybe Pa's had his reasons, but they've never been good enough for murder. All right? What did Nigel do that deserves that he gets sacrificed so that Byron can have a better life? You know what I'm saying? But they were like, get Pa, and we're okay. So they all kind of changed their mind. They're like, we don't want you to kill him. But it's like, really, if you don't, they're running under the assumption that if they kill him, right, then they'll find them, is what I'm thinking. They'll find Pa and be able to prove that this wasn't on the up and up to getting the money. But we also then have the thermodynamics of running. So much. There's so much in these episodes. The idea that when you are trained as a firefighter to go in, get something done, and then get the fuck out. Like saving something. So like we see that in the fire, he got the bird out. And then he bolted. And the other guy who picked up the hose, kind of like what they said earlier in the series was, well, maybe he should have been fucking running too. But I mean, they were doing their jobs. The one guy was trying a little bit harder than Paul, or James, I guess. And that they're going to try to do the same thing for Walker, which is basically give him something, give him enough so that he felt like he did something, and then he can go back to Texas feeling a little bit better about it, and none the wiser. And it's not that bad a plan. It's just that when it's hinging on Beverly and Dave, probably not a good idea. But James tells Walker about Teresa's father and why she died, or why she was in the situation that she was in. Still not covering the fact that he, the real Paul, kidnapped her in a way. It's kidnapping under it's false pretenses. It's kidnapping. He took her out there saying that they were going to Star Search, took her to a little cabin he made to get her out of the way so that he could rip his family off. So I guess that must have been the stock money, maybe? I don't know. Maybe Paul's been doing this for a while. And so she was still out there because of Paul. Because she was going to tell. She was going to ruin things. And again, it's what's great about him deciding to turn himself in, is realizing that he inadvertently caused her death. And so, again, it's nice. But he says that, James says that God hates magic, that it's in the Bible. But Walker's like, I don't believe in God. And that her father didn't really know her because she couldn't share the thing that she loved with him, because he would see it as like a sinful thing, and she died because of, but also because of Paul. But it is kind of, like, I understand that where he's coming from, because like my whole life I had to hide all the nerdiness, all this nerdiness that I can do now, all the things that I love, my freaking comic books and all the things that have been a part of who I am. I had to like stifle and hide, because I was always told that it maybe like when my family found my Spawn comic books, they were like thought I was into the devil and shit. So I can definitely relate to this part of the story. Um, Hector's inner narration is great. It's like he's in a pulp novel, just Luke was going down the road to do something, like it's really, really funny. And he finds Ma and picks her up. And James comes up with that he was sleeping with Scotty Scholl whole thing, and that's why he's been missing for part of the, whenever Walker's looking for this missing time, is because he was sleeping with another man's wife. And this is perfect, because what Walker doesn't know is that Scotty's married to a gay gentleman. And we also learn that the hair salon that he's been going to, this barber shop, it's really a hair salon. It was carefully designed by Beverly's wife. I called it too right before it was happening. It's like, as soon as Beverly started talking about the barber shop in this kind of very sober way, for a guy who's always drunk, you knew that it was going to be about his wife. And that, but I didn't know that it was part of the reason it's closed down is because of the equity that went missing money from the church that put into it, and then it broke them when the money wasn't there to keep the place going. But it closed down, just like the Lens Crafters. And again, all these places feel like they were shut down inadvertently because of what Pa and Ma and even Paul were doing. But Walker's eyes after that comment, when he's thinking even more about, like, you can tell that he's thinking about Ma and Pa's whole enterprise and their property and the church and all the money tied up in all the businesses. The gears are still turning for him. So even though he's kind of off that Teresa may not have been murdered, there's something going on. And then we get to that really quickly. And Glenn and Beverly's scene in the pawn shop where why is there an astronaut in our stock room? And F means fuck and A means ass. This is a really weird episode of Sesame Street. Scotty's told that she's been arrested 104 times, and that's remarkable. It's just something that I wrote down because it's remarkable. I remarked upon it because it's remarkable. And so she corroborates James's version of events. And when Walker goes to get her husband, the deacon, his thoughts on it, he says no, that's not what would have happened. And I think he's just doing it to like try to save face with her. I don't think he really knows what's the whole story about what's going on. But when he calls Walker a beautiful man, you're a beautiful man, kind of like a horse. Walker immediately gets it and says, well, you're a beautiful gay man. Thank you. Oh. So cat's out of the bag for that. And right now, everything still seems to be, doing okay. Even Beverly, like changes his story and says, yeah, I didn't want to tell you that, that the story was wrong and all. But then Dave shows up. Dave shows up with Walker on the Paz property, and he's like, there's something going on. Maybe not murder, but there's something going on. And so Dave's there because he wanted to bring some things of Ma and Pa's for the funeral, and that since he's not allowed to be there, maybe Walker could be there in this place. And I like that, again, showing their friendship, because, Dave says, like, he knows, like, we've been sitting, we've been friendly, you shook my hand at dinners, getting information, but that you try to wash me off before the meal comes. Just, Kurtwood breaks my heart, because he's just this sad guy who had something terrible happen to him that's not true, and now he has to forever suffer for a lie. for something he didn't do. And his, you can tell that Walker really feels for him because he says, well, let's go show these county assholes my badge. I love that. Walker then finds, finally, the muff diver photo. But he hides it. He realizes that this is the real Paul, but he doesn't tell that to Dave. Okay? And so Hector gets out there at the last minute, right? Hector gets all the way out there at the last minute to save Pa. Tells this guy Esteban not to do it, and he has to shoot Esteban and kill him. And then Pa proceeds to take Esteban's gun and shoot Hector in the heart, in the chest. Why'd you shoot me in the chest? Because that's where the heart is. And kills Hector. I kind of honestly didn't think that was coming. I mean, I thought it was a possibility, but I honestly thought that Pa might, if he was really not a monster. But, I mean, the whole ball, I guess Pa has, I could see why Pa did it. I don't like what Pa's doing because he's, I don't know. Nobody's innocent in this situation, but he saved him, and I think that should have counted for something. And by the look on Pa's face, I think she was kind of surprised by it too. But Hector dies like a guy in one of his pulp novels. His little inner narration, sitting there, laying, accepting his fate. And who knows? Maybe somebody can get out there and find him if there's a season 2. But yeah, he dies kind of like one of his characters in his little story. And we get to the funeral, and the deacon and everybody's like, okay, we need Pa Allen Brown to stand up. They make sure to say it enough times. Also, how did James not notice the astronaut before he got up there? I don't know. I think you noticed an astronaut showing up to a funeral, but I guess there was a few people there, but I don't. Fine. So he gets up there, starts getting ready to say something. I like his stance. He's kind of like confident, ready to blow everybody away with a nice eulogy for his not really dead parents, not really Mom and Pa, not really. He's not Paul. That's not Mom and Pa. Dave sees him, very confused. Walker, his eyes connect with James. Walker gives him that, I know what you're up to, bitch. And then he sees the astronaut, and then he just doesn't really know what to say. And so he says what he said to Walker. Hey. And that's where we end the episode. And that's why, and then when we see Pa and Ma driving back. So, either this is a really ambiguous one season and done show where we're just supposed to expect that a bunch of shit goes down after this. But Deloche is there too. Okay, and Deloche didn't get his money or anything from Pa. They haven't had a conflict yet. So I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that we're getting a season 2, and if that's true, so hopefully by this time next year, way more people will know about this show. And like I said, I don't care if, I get if people subscribe to my channel for this or likes or what, but when you find this, share this with your friends so that they can at least know about the show. They can hate me. They can hate the reviews. I don't fucking care as long as they know about the show. That's the more important thing, right? Is to spread the word on small shows. Like, this isn't a small show. This is, look who's in this cast again. Sir Ben Kingsley, Terry O'Quinn, Jimmy Simpson, Kurtwood Smith, Michael Chernus, Dana DeLorenzo, Luis Guzman, Jackie Weaver. I'm forgetting the kid who plays Glenn's name. I apologize. The incredible Chris Conrad, who, again, I want more New Leaf, okay? Or Space Junk, or Mr. Success, or the, Captain Lens Crafters. I don't care what you call him. I want more New Leaf. I want more great phrases. I want more stuff to put on a poster or a daily, thing to read every day. So that's it. That's the first season of Perpetual Grace Limited, like I said, and my best and worst and disappointing of 2019 so far. this was kind of like the cherry on top that I put in there. I actually played the full trailer, sang the show's praises so that people would ever watch that video would see what I thought about this show. I mixed it with the best. This was, I consider, like, this is very close to being my favorite show of the year. It's just between this and Deadly Class. No, it's this. Deadly Class is a lot of fun. This is the kind of stuff that I look for. This is great writing, great acting, great production. You can feel that there's love in this. This is written not like any show on television, and I want more of it. And I hope you guys, if this comes back for season 2, I hope you guys come back and watch me try to review it. So, if you like this review, please hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for all notifications so you know when these are up. I will be doing Patriot. We're going all the way back to season 1. I'm going to redo everything I did for season 2, give it kind of a you know, I don't know, I'm not going to call it a remaster, but maybe a remix, you know, maybe a little. Otherwise, we will see you then. So I'm putting that out there just so that everybody that knows what I'm talking about with Patriot will find those reviews as well. So this is Rob at Smirking on Reviews saying have a great day, everybody. Hopefully I'm feeling better by the time these videos are put up. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for the people that make this show, that have helped me find the motivation to keep going. And yeah, have a great day, everybody. Peace out.